1. The sixth U.S. President, John Quincy Adams, enjoyed skinny dipping. Once, a female reporter saw him doing it, sat on his clothes, and wouldn't let him get them back unless he agreed to let her interview him. 2. Mozart, a wonderful composer, produced works other than the somber Lacrimosa. Also, he created a masterpiece titled Leck mich im Arsch, Lick Me in the Ass. 3. After King Edwig was crowned in 955, Bishop Dunstan went to call him back from his chamber since he had missed an assembly of nobles. Dunstan discovered the young king in bed with a mother and her daughter and 2 other ladies. Dunstan was furious and dragged Edwig behind him. Dunstan quit England after understanding he had angered the king, and he wouldn't come back until Edwig had passed away. 4. In 2005, German researchers in the southwest of the country discovered the world's oldest sculpted phallus. It is a 20 centimeters polished schlong of siltstone that dates back to about 28,000 years. 5. Anton van Leeuwenhoek's semen was the first object, the father of microbiology, examined under a microscope. Van Leeuwenhoek studied fresh sperm in 1677 and found living spermatozoa there. Although it was known that semen was essential to the development of life, single-cell creatures were yet unknown. He anticipated seeing little, tiny humans. 6. The vibrator was created in response to doctors who developed carpal tunnel syndrome from using their fingers to induce orgasmic fits in female patients in order to treat hysteria. 7. Catherine the Great of Russia once opined that she required a vigorous young man in the imperial bed for the sake of her health and that, when sleeping alone, she was unable to govern Russia correctly. Her ladies-in-waiting would test prospective young noblemen before they appeared in the Empress Night Chamber. She chose a new favorite or accepted the choice made for her by her experts, in much the same way that she chose a new painting for her collection. 8. Lawrence Sperry, the inventor of the autopilot, gave Cynthia Polk a revolutionary form of flying lesson while operating a Curtiss flying boat C-2 500 feet above the coast of Long Island in 1916. However, the two managed to accidentally bump and disable the autopilot during their aerial shenanigans, dropping their jet into Great South Bay where they were both found to be completely naked and rescued by duck hunters. A skeptic New York newspaper ran the classic headline, "Aerial petting ends in wedding," despite Sperry's explanation that the force of the accident had stripped both pilots of all their clothing. 9. When having sex with his 30-year-old lover in his office at a crucial moment in 1889, French President Félix Faure passed away from a seizure. Félix Faure reportedly experienced his fatal seizure while his mistress was falling asleep. 10. Benjamin Franklin, one of the USA's founding fathers, developed what he dubbed an air bath as a notion to prevent falling ill. To maximize the benefits of the increased airflow, he would open his home's windows to let more air in before sitting in the naked front of the window. He also used to take naked walks or spins in the air for his outdoor baths in order to purify himself. 11. Cesare Borgia, the son of Pope Alexander VI, hosted a dinner known as the Ballet of Chestnuts in the Papal Palace in 1501. After dinner, 50 honest prostitutes danced with the guests and other attendees, first while wearing clothing, then while completely naked, at the feast hosted in the Vatican. After dinner, there were scattered chestnuts, which the naked courtesans picked up while stooping between the chandeliers and being seen by the Pope, Cesare, and his sister Lucretia. Because the Pope immensely appreciated virility and determined a man's machismo by his ability to ejaculate, servants kept track of each man's orgasms. When everyone had had enough, His Holiness gave out awards. 12. Lyndon B. Johnson, a former president of the United States, was a sexual maniac who frequently urinated in public and gave his penis the moniker, Jumbo. "Have you ever seen anything as huge as this?" he would turn around and ask anyone who challenged him. 13. There have been some rumors that silphium and the conventional heart shape are related. The ancient plant known as silphium was highly prized by the Romans. According to reports, it went extinct in the 3rd or 2nd century BC due to high demand for its oral contraceptive application. 14. In Pompeii, the pavement is covered in enormous stone penises that point towards the brothels. Also in Pompeii, there is a structure that once served as a brothel. It has numerous little rooms with stone beds and sensual wall paintings, none of which show a man and woman or a man and man in the same pose. It's unclear whether the pictures on the walls were meant to advertise the services provided or merely to increase guests' enjoyment. 15. Both the seeds and rind of the pomegranate have been consumed as contraceptives and abortifacients, and the rind has also been applied externally to the vagina. Ancient Indian literature, medieval sources, and contemporary folk medicine all mention this procedure. Women in ancient Egypt used crocodile dung as a spermicidal gel to help stop sperm in their vagina. The strong acidity of the manure was the reason it worked. 16. In Roman times, the morning plays were frequently brevities based on well-known myths. They cast prisoners as the main characters so they could murder them on stage if necessary. They performed out Pasiphae, a tale about a lady being raped by a bull, during Nero's reign. In front of a cheering crowd, they actually did it. 17. France's King Louis XVI suffered from phimosis, which made getting an erection extremely uncomfortable for him. He was unable to complete his marriage as a result. This led to accusations that he was infertile or gay, which were dispelled when he underwent circumcision 7 years into his marriage and became the father of his Queen Marie Antoinette. 18. In order to avoid sexual temptation and maintain his piety, Boston Corbett, the Union Army soldier who killed John Wilkes Booth, castrated himself with a pair of scissors. He had a dinner and attended a prayer gathering before going to the doctor. 19. When copying scriptures, medieval monks frequently produced homoerotic poetry that they would distribute. 20. Elagabalus, the Roman emperor, engaged in cross-dressing. There were rumors that he intended to have a vagina surgically transplanted into his body and that he spent his evenings pretending to be a female prostitute. 21. No one thought it was immoral for nannies to masturbate young boys to put them to sleep in the 17th century in Europe. 22. Prostitutes had to shave their pubic region to get rid of pubic lice and to cover up evidence of syphilis. Therefore the pubic wig, or merkin, was invented in the 1450s for their usage. 23. Thomas Jefferson fathered 6 children with Sally Hemings, his wife's female slave. The result of a relationship between Jefferson's father-in-law and one of his slaves was Sally. Sally was, in other words, the half-sister of his wife. 24. Legends of witches riding broomsticks date back to the medieval ages in Europe, when some women would apply hallucinogens to a broomstick before ingesting the substance through the mucous membrane of the vagina. 25. Throughout sex, 4 different popes have passed away. While having sex with his mistress, Pope Leo VII passed away from a heart attack. Pope John VII was brutally murdered by the woman's enraged husband as they were having sex. The conduct also resulted in the murder of Pope John XII by a furious husband. While supposedly having a heart attack and being sodomized by a page boy, Pope Paul II passed away. This is debated though. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.